Games, board games. I might be talking about board games, but I'm not gonna shout. I am starting off this evening with a little bit of singing. And today, if you bear with me, I'll have a very quick designer diary of the game I'm making, a DCG, and how repeated playtesters are helping greatly. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. 10 a.m. is UK time for Busy Beats and Board Game Leather. And today I wanted to quickly talk about the DCG deck construction game that I'm working on. And last time I spoke, I think I mentioned that on Sunday, I tried a market row, I tried a sorts of deck building approach to see if it would work to kind of get to gauge of how good the cards are before I get into proper deck construction. But then I realised that there's just too much that needs your deck, needs your individual things, needs you to decide, especially in a game where you can have 17 cards in your deck, like it's 20 cards and then the 3 cards in front of you. There's a lot of choice and synergy. You can guarantee things, and that changes the game a lot. So yesterday, Doric and Alan played it, and it was really instructive. Which brings me to recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights. So yesterday, I was at Playtest UK National Theatre. As always, we had 3 new faces, I believe. One of them had brought their own game, and 2 of them were there just for the first slot to check out, okay, what's it's all about, and maybe we can get some inspiration, because this 13-year-old child has always wanted to make games. It was lovely to see them all, and I played so many games. I mean, I didn't play so many. We did also play a couple of published games at the end of the evening, so yeah, it was a full day of playing games. And that included 2 of my own things. One being a game about auctioning cubes after winning an auction to be the auctioneer. The other game being my untitled deck construction game. So, brilliant thing, what's a little thing which is brilliant? I've probably talked about it. I wanted to talk about the ownership of making your own deck, which is a brilliant thing, that just choosing from a subset of cards, suddenly it's like, okay, these are the cards that I want. And actually, you know what? I'm going to talk about why I want teeny tiny cards. It's all about the consistency. You can say, these are the cards that I really want. And if you're able to predict that in my game, sure, 6 of them get removed from your deck randomly, but then you'll get them once you lose life. But it means that if you think, I want to do this, I've got a plan, there's almost no chance of you having the cards at the bottom of your deck, as long as there's a little bit of redundancy. When I say almost no, actually, well, there's more chance of you being able to access the cards. It feels like you've got more control, and it feels like all of these cards are cards that I chose to put there, and I'm happy to see all of them. During the game, Doric was saying, I love the tiny deck size. It means that all the cards that I see are things that I really like. I think Doric kept to the absolute minimum. Meanwhile, Alan had a much bigger deck size, so I think it was like 28 or rather than the 20. And myself, when I got home and I tried to make a deck out of the card pool, I struggled to get it below 30, to be honest, which is a good sign. It's a good sign that there's a lot of cards, and the cards that I wanted were totally different to, well, a lot of them were different. Now, what's the value of repeat playtesters? There's basically three things that I want to say. Firstly, I mean, there's two, no, there's never exactly two, is there? But when you are making a game, you want to think about first impressions, of course. It's super important that when people have played it for the first time, you entice them for that second play. But then the other side is, after the second play, you want to entice them for the third play. After the third play, entice them in for the fourth play. It wants to be a game that keeps offering delights. And with a strategic game, you want to make a game that's non-obvious, even after the 10th, 100th, 1000th of play. Ideally, you'll still be wondering, maybe I could do something totally different. Now, parts of that might be making a game where it's completely reliant on how other people play, like, which is why I love auctions, because the best way to play keeps changing depending on your play group. And hello, Heather, it's lovely to see you, and I hope you are well. And good morning to you too. So, yeah, I think that it's super important to know that the game has some depth and it will keep people entertained or bring people value in whatever way for many, many, many plays. So the only really real way to do that is to get repeat playtesters to say, hey, you've played this game before, now please try it again. That's the first step. The second thing is, obviously, for a deck construction game, the core rules really matter. The core rules matter a lot. But also, I need to focus on the individual cards. The deck construction, is that part of it interesting? And that's a whole part of the game that people can only access once they understand the rules of the game somewhat. So for that reason, it's lovely having people who already know the rules of the game. And I think yesterday we had 2 games over the 90 minutes. I think it was about 20 minutes for maybe half an hour for deck building, half an hour for game 1, a bit of feedback, half an hour for game 2, and a bit of deck tweaking in the middle. But it was really nice to see people engage with that, which is meant to be the game, because it's not just a game. Well, you happen to be able to do deck construction, it's meant to be specifically a deck construction game. And the third reason is that it's nice to see if the game has improved. So for that reason, you look at someone who's played it a couple of weeks ago and say, hey, is this better for you? Has this improved? Is this something that resonates with you a bit more now? And you can get an idea of if you really are on the right track. In any case, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Deck construction game seems to be going well. People are enjoying it. People like all the changes that have been made. And now, over to you. What are you up to? You can share Botany if you want to. I am today heading off back down to Waterloo, then getting a train over to SoarCon. It's a 3-day convention. I'm going there just for 1 day. I'm totally not to exhibit or anything. Just going there. Yeah, I'm taking a few of my own games, but I'm going there just to play other people's games, just to, well, not to play test, but just to be with people. Do you know what I mean? Get out the house, and we'll see. Hopefully, have a lot of fun. What are you up to? I hope that you've got plans to have a lot of fun. In any case, recap and wrap up before we finish up. So when you're playtesting, think about the first games, think about the late games. Tiny decks are brilliant because they offer you, boom, I love all these cards in my deck. And what else? Yeah, repeated playtesters are brilliant because firstly, they can access the strategies, that's early playtesters cards. Secondly, they can do things like deck construction, that's early players cards. Thirdly, they can say if the game is in the right direction. And as long as they're vaguely in the target's audience, that's great. So lots of love to all of you. And Heather says, all valid points. Lots of games are constantly developing and different groups of people interpret game rules differently. Yes, 100%. Now, as always, I hope you have a wonderful day. If you want to check me out, I am Stuffed by Bez in all of the places. And the only thing left for me to say is, of course, bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, bye. Bye, bye.